I think where people get in trouble with this is the empathy winds up making them want to help their friend, and they know going in that there are going to be problems. And I'm guilty of this. So I have a family member, and I've stopped doing this, by the way, but I am historically guilty of this. I have a family member who is the best, most creative editor, film producer I have ever known. And the stuff that he puts out is amazing. And it's been a while since I've seen his stuff. But because he's actually gone on, probably because of the problems that I had, he's gone on to do other things. So he's left his talent behind, which is just a shame. And if he were editing this right now, like, I probably would have, I don't even know what kind of animation. He most likely would probably at times have a moo coming out of my mouth at times. Like, it's funny, it's creative, it's exactly the personality that we have on our websites and and sort of in our daily lives that sometimes doesn't come quite through when we're talking about serious things. But I have hired him, and I know that giving him feedback is very difficult. I know that it winds up making him throw his hands in the air and just, like, not moving forward. And so the last time that I hired him, like, I had to basically not give him real feedback and sort of massage what the problems were, because I knew if I didn't, he'd just cease work. And I knew that. I knew that going in. I've had other experiences working around him, like, just like as a family member. But I got sucked in because his talent is so great. And so something that should have taken a week to produce, we didn't get for months because this person is just not, you can't really have a conversation with them. I knew that. I should have never hired him. Again, I did it because the talent is so great. But you know that about your friends. And so don't do that with them. Don't choose the people who you're going to have, like, there are going to be times where your friend is jammed up and you can see that they're struggling financially, for instance, and you're going to want to help. And the solution, if you know that you can't actually work effectively with that person, is not to hire them, because it's probably not going to last. And then you're going to be really angry about it. So the friendship will be harmed. And so better to help them sort of get right and go out and find a job where they're working for, hopefully in a field where they can excel, than to take the hit on the friendship. Hire the friends you can work with, will be effective, have the skills. Now, there is a personality trait, like, that also contributes to this. We've covered it before. It's satisficer maximizer. We didn't really get into this aspect of it, but people who are satisficers, and by satisficer, that means people who basically are internally driven, and they have a good enough bar, and when something makes good enough, they go with it. They have a tendency, and I'm one of those people, by the way, I'm a satisficer, and I'm definitely guilty of this too. They have a tendency to see the people they like as being able to do everything. And so, as a result, and I am 100% guilty of this as well, if you are a satisficer, and you can go into the other episode, or you can look up the measure. It's available online. You can get it. It's Schwartz who came up with the instrument. They tend to be very, very loyal. And because satisficers are loyal, they tend to take people they like and then try to apply them to everything in their life. Any hole that the person is available to actually fill, they will try to plug them in. And because of that, their networks are very small compared to satisficers. But also because of that, they're not really evaluating people accurately based on skills for hiring the job. And again, this is my tendency. I have examples in my past where I have done this. I had a very good friend. I think she's amazing. I think everything she does is great, and I tried to put her into one of the highest paid positions in, my family's business, which meant that she was staying late at night, and she was responsible for technology that sometimes breaks, and she came back to me, and she's like, "I can't handle the stress." I'm grateful that she did, because I don't wanna harm my friend, but, like, that was a surprise to me because I'd never even considered, like, the stress of being there late at night or the stress of the technology and the responsibility of basically the customers relying on you on that regard, but it was too much for her. That was my error in taking somebody who is great with people and just and and that I like, and then trying to put them everywhere, and so, if you have that tendency, then you have to actually go against your personality. You have another step in the hiring process, and that's to really think about whether or not they have the actual skills to do the job, not just that you think they're globally awesome. And so, those are, I think, a couple of the big areas in terms of, thinking through yourself and the relationship with the person and the quality of the relationship and whether or not you're gonna hire them. In terms of setting it up, I probably would say get in the habit of you may decide to have a conversation about this because, like, there probably needs to be a conversation about, like, "Look, I wanna hire you, but I also wanna protect our friendship, and so we need to move into this relationship with the idea that if this doesn't work for either of us, we let each other know early, and then we unwind it in a way that is doesn't leave anybody hanging out to dry." So if you're the manager, then you're letting them know, like, "I need you to start looking for another job because, like, we're just not gelling well." And if they're the employee, they need to be like they need to be on board with being able to come to you and be like, I don't think we're gelling well. I think I need to find another job." And so, like, you can start looking for somebody else. So you give everybody a window of time to basically recover, to preserve the friendship. And I think you have conversations about how you're gonna handle sort of the more professional conversations that you're gonna have. Sometimes, I've seen managers say to their friends, "Okay, I'm in boss mode. I'm wearing the boss hat, and so this has nothing to do with our friendship or what I think about you. This is what I need you to know about the work." And then they give them the feedback. And that obviously preps the person to know that, like, there's probably something a little bit wrong, but it's also reassuring, like, it's also that you're separating out the personal from the professional. There's still gonna be, like, some weirdness. There's always weirdness whenever you give anybody anything negative. You get like, as the manager, you have to circle back. You have to keep signaling that the person is on your A team. Like, they're still your friend. They're still a good worker. Like, all the things that you have to do, except for that now you have to do it in the friendship realm too, to just sort of get back to an even keel. So that kinda covers, like, the interpersonal components of this topic and when you are gonna hire people that you are friends with. The organizational standpoint, you know, it's very hard to be the person who evaluates your friend, especially if it's, like, say, for, like, a promotion and there's a better candidate, and so just get ahead of that. Like, you can put them up for the position and let them go at it, but the organization needs to be supportive of the fact that you need to basically come out of this not looking like you're biased towards your friend for the other employees. Because say your friend is awesome and totally deserves a promotion. If you are part of the decision-making team, unless, like, they're being this extraordinary is very clear to everybody else on the team, where everybody on the team is turning to them for advice. If there's anybody else in that department or in the organization that thinks that they were a better fit for that job and they know your friends, you cannot win. It is going to look like favoritism. And so get ahead of that and say, I have to abstain from being a part of this decision process because I have this person that everybody knows I have a relationship with. And so somebody else has to do the interviewing, treating them like they're just an external party coming into this process. Somebody else is going to have to evaluate them against the other candidates and make the decision. And then don't you dare ever give that group a hard time about whether or not they picked your friend, because I've seen that too. And shame on you. Like, you got out of it to not have an influence on it, so it could be a pure process. So don't stick your thumbs back in it afterwards and beat up people who made a decision based on the information in front of them. And obviously, like, don't get in the middle of fights. Like, I've had to coach a new manager who came in, and he had somebody on his team who another family member who was his peer in the organization. They were family members. And this other manager was icing him down because he was having trouble with her family member. Like, that's not your lane. You have your department, your family member's in somebody else's department, and, like, you know more than anybody that your family member isn't perfect or your friend isn't perfect. And so you need to not be involved in whatever feud or whatever troubles are going on over there. If they have a problem, they can go to HR or they can go to somebody else in the organization, however the organization is set up, for an unbiased perspective and help in resolving the situation with their boss. And that's pretty much what I would say are like the foundations for hiring friends. And so go forth, I say, because, you know, sometimes you have to hire friends. Sometimes honestly, some of the best employees we have been our friends. And we're employees for our friends. Like, we do gigs all the time for our friends. And so it makes work enjoyable and fun. And I don't think I don't think that work is the same thing as going on vacation with people, but I think having friendships at work is not a negative thing. And in fact, the research supports it. You're more likely to stay and you're more likely to have high job satisfaction. All right, y'all, have a good day. And thank you to our producer, Sarah Morsi, for all that she does because she's trying to make me better. And I'm trying to have a growth mindset about that.